Peace family. Welcome to Ma'at Speaks. My name is Leah Kenyatta, and on this channel, we aim to bring Ma'at, also known as balance, back into our communities through the principles of truth, order, justice, balance, harmony, reciprocity, and righteousness. So today we will be talking about creating balance and creating balance through our emotions and logic, and how we can apply this to our relationships and ultimately to our community. Before we dive deep into emotions and logic, I want us to define the two. So emotions, if you Google emotions, you'll find that the definition says that it is a subjective state of mind in reaction to an internal stimuli, such as thoughts or memories. On the other hand, logic is reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. So let's look at this deeper. When a person is being emotional or they're in an emotional state, they're looking for comfort, understanding. But when someone is being logical, they're looking for answers. They're trying to find a solution to a problem. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he wrote the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Wonderful book about the way, if you want to learn more about the brain and even how to use your emotions to manifest. Wonderful book. But anyway, Dr. Joe Dispenza tells us that emotions are the end product of an experience. I'm going to say that again. An end product of an experience. So this can go back to childhood. I mean, a lot of us are still battling with our childhood, healing from it, right? When we get into an argument with our spouse, our partner, or significant other, we as women, we are usually, coming at it from an emotional state, while men are operating from logic. So your man says to you something that triggers you, and that emotion that you feel unloved, undervalued. And in some cases, most cases, it's because of a childhood experience, or it's something that you internalize, from being a little girl. Maybe you felt left out. Maybe you were neglected. Maybe you didn't grow up with both of your parents, and so you feel abandoned. So when our spouse is fighting us with logic, this can very much feel like they're being unemotional. It feels like they're rejecting us. It can even feel like a slap in the face. So I have literally been in an argument with my husband, and I have yelled the words, "Stop being so logical. Show some emotion," right? Like, yeah, I've said those words many times. So the thing is, your brain is holding on to the emotion of the past. It's an experience you haven't gotten over. So this can be a very subconscious thing, because our body, by way of our brain, has learned this emotion. And now, as Dr. Joe tells us, it becomes our identity. Furthermore, he says that after having those many experiences over and over again, it becomes your personality. And it is an addiction. So our body thinks that we actually like this emotional feeling. It can be anger, it can be depression, it can be different emotions, but our body is like, oh, you like that, so let's keep having more of those emotions. And so you are now an emotional addict. So just like each cell in our body, which has a brain center launched by those impulses and directives from the central brain, this is how we can think ourselves sick, or better yet, we can think ourselves well. while we're taking the right actions, of course. Understand, I'm not saying to completely get rid of your emotions and only operate in logic, but you do have to train your emotions, and you have to use logic to train your emotions. So how do we do this? We have to understand the mindset behind the emotion, the why. So you identify the emotion, and even maybe identify the problem that continues to amplify that emotion. And then you're going to want to figure out the why of that emotional charge. So some people call this shadow work, and later on we'll probably dive deeper into shadow work. But once you do that shadow work, then you apply logic to the emotion. You want to apply the knowledge that you have attained by understanding that deeper emotional charge, because knowledge is nothing if you don't apply it, right? An example of this would be when your spouse tells you that they do not like a particular action. And instead of reacting from the past or a past experience, we take a moment to look at that particular action and address it from the present moment, not from past relationships or childhood experiences or even something that happened a month ago, but you address it in the present moment. So once you detach from the emotions of your past, which means to get unstuck and no longer allow your body to be amplified by those emotions or stimuli. And if you remember, we said that emotions being your thoughts and memories and past experiences. So once you no longer allow your body to be amplified by those emotions or stimuli, you can objectively analyze the present and be able to analyze your present relationship without the past gnawing at you. This takes work, and it's very conscious effort in order to train the subconscious and your emotions, because you have to understand a lot of things that we have learned from our past is very subconscious. There are different things that we are triggered from, and they're not always a conscious thing that we're thinking about. It's subconscious. So we have to train our subconscious to release those emotions. So I want to quickly look at this on a community level. So remember, the first step in order to create balance through your emotions and logic is with yourself, right? Knowledge of self, creating balance within your own mind, your families, your relationships, and then you extend it to your community. So because of our emotions as a people, we have been labeled many things, but we have different labels because of our emotions, and we have a right to those emotions, right? Because of our past experiences, our past traumas, our emotional state as a collective, in epigenetics. These are things that have dictated our emotional state in the present. I'm not going to go too deeply in how we are manipulated or being manipulated because of our emotional state. And if you remember, our emotions are our thoughts, memories, and past experiences. But I'll say this. If something in the media, in our music, in our entertainment is not making our community better, why continue to participate? So you get that emotional charge or that high from a show that you're watching, from the music, from different things in entertainment. We get that emotional charge, that high. Sometimes we get an emotional high from the foods that we eat, right? So another great book is by Chief Yua in 14 Keys, Power, Unity, and Success Unlocked. He tells us in that book that toxic foods sustain the toxic aspect of ourselves. So if that is the case, how much so are toxic images, entertainment, our thoughts, our emotions, perpetuating toxicity in ourselves and in our community? So listen, family, I'm not saying to dismiss all of your emotions. I'm not saying get rid of everything that is in the entertainment industry, but I do want you to take a good look at your emotional state and your emotions and how you're feeding into it. Now, emotions are good. They're necessary. We have to have sympathy for our community. We have to have empathy, even joy. That's how we become powerful manifestors. It takes emotions to manifest. Understand that we have to know ourselves so well and apply logic, which, if you remember, is to look for answers and solve a problem. So combine your emotions with your logic, and with that, you're going to get something that is helpful. Emotions should be helping you. It should be helping you, your family, and ultimately your community. So family, before I end with a quote, I want you to tell me your thoughts. Let's continue this discussion. And if you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, I just ask that you subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. And I'll leave you with this quote by Dr. Joe Dispenza. The memory without the emotional charge is wisdom. Peace, family. See you next time.